Let's now turn to contracts. There are also other ways to transfer property to the next generation or to your heirs. So we went through probate, we went through the joint ownership. Now we're going to go through contracts. Now there are different examples I'm going to give it to you. So for example, one example is annuities. If you have annuities, annuities has three parts to it. One is the owner, the person who purchased annuity, and the other factor is the annuitant, the person that the life expectancy is used to measure that contract. Then the third is a beneficiary. And sometimes if you have an annuity that has a lifetime beneficiary and there is a residuary beneficiary, you want to make sure you name the residuary beneficiary, because once you pass away, if you don't have a beneficiary on the annuity contract, then it's going to go through the probate process. Similarly, with a life insurance policy. Now remember, life insurance policy is a contract on your life. So if something happens to you, that's when the death benefit is going to pay out. So you want to make sure there is a beneficiary name on the life insurance policy. Now you can certainly name the trust as a beneficiary. You can also name, for example, your children, your spouse, or anybody you want to be a beneficiary. And that's the other way to pass down the assets without going through the probate process. Also, if you look at bank accounts, we all have a small bank accounts that we use to pay our bills. So most of the banks, and I think I certainly understand that because I bank with Wells Fargo. And I think Wells Fargo's checking account pays 0.001% interest, I think. I don't know. It's so minute. They don't even send me a 1099 because it's not worth their stamp to send me a 1099. So if you have a bank account that is not in your trust, but you want to make sure it's not subject to probate on the back end when you passed away, you have two options. One is to change the account ownership into the trust, which you can do. But sometimes it's a big hassle because our HOA fees, our utility bills, you may have direct deposit that comes into your account from Social Security, from your pension. Money goes out to pay for your regular expenses. If you change that title into your trust, most banks require you to establish new relationships with all the different vendors again, which is a major pain in the behind. So therefore, a lot of times with a small bank account, it's okay to leave it in your own name, but not in the trust. But what you want to do is to name a payable on death beneficiary on the bank account. So that way, if something happens to you, that account will not be frozen. It will go to the named beneficiary. Just make sure you tell that person you have named him or her as a beneficiary. Otherwise, the bank is not going to reach out to your beneficiary to inform them. Now, if you have retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, those are contract-based as well. You want to make sure you name a beneficiary as well as a contingent beneficiary on your retirement accounts. The reason is because that if you move that account into your trust in order to avoid probate, it's going to trigger immediate income tax consequences because those accounts are pre-tax dollar accounts. Now, some of you probably recall that in the beginning of the year, which seems like forever ago, that the Secure Act was passed, which changed completely the landscape of how the retirement account will be passed down to the beneficiaries. We're going to do a separate webinar on the Secure Act as a refresher, because I know not all of you have attended our client event that we had discussed this issue. But make sure that you name a beneficiary and a contingent beneficiaries on your retirement accounts.